Did you know that there are roughly 2.3 to 2.5 billion Christians in the world? Billion. You would think the world would be a better place, right? Let's talk about religion. Fun fact, roughly 75% of Americans identify themselves as Christian. There are roughly 33,000 denominations within the Christian view. That translates to basically just 33,000 ways to serve the same God. So religion by definition is pretty much a belief or a worship of a supernatural being. And then the other definition is a particular system and faith of worship. The problem for me is not religion itself, it's the human beings that take religion and tarnish it. Because in the Bible, James 1:27 tells us that pure religion, undefiled is to, and then it lists a bunch of service acts like love the orphan or pray for the widow or whatever the case is, super paraphrasing. But religion itself is a biblical concept. What is not a biblical concept is when people take religion and their belief and they shove it down the throats of others. That's not Jesus. In fact, you know what story comes to my mind? The Prodigal Son. So basically there was a dad, his two sons, and the younger son says, "Hey dad, so pretty much I hate it here. I don't like living here. Give me my trust fund and I'm about to be out and live life." And so the father does just that. He gives him his money and he goes off to the city and essentially squanders his money. Fun fact, again, I just love fun facts. I grew up thinking prodigal talked about the fact that the boy left home, but prodigal by definition actually has to deal with how he spent his money. Now you know, you should look it up. But anyways, he goes to the city, he's partying, I'm sure he's buying the dopest clothes and has all these cool friends, but what happens when you have limited resources? It runs out. So his funds run out and eventually his friends leave and then the nation goes into crisis, there's a famine and he finds himself in the pig pen pretty much stealing the food from the pigs. And he says to himself, what the heck have I done? My father treats his servants, the hired help, better than I'm living right now. It's funny because in life, we're all gonna hit those famine periods, not necessarily just physical famine, but a point where we're like, why did I stray away from God? This relationship is not fulfilling. I knew I should not be with this person. This career is not what I wanted. This so-and-so, we hit a famine point and we're like, the best place that I've ever been or the place that I experienced true acceptance was in my father's house. So what happens? The prodigal son, he goes back home. He comes up with a plan. He's like, bruh, I'm gonna just be my dad's servant. I'm gonna tell him I messed up, just take me back as a servant. As he's on the way home, his father sees him on the horizon and his dad takes off running. Oh, he's like, my son is home. My son is home. Throws a feast, kills a fatted calf, gives him a dope robe. And the big brother's all like, bruh, so I've been here this whole time doing exactly what you want me to do. This fool goes out, spends all of his money, and you accept him like this? And the father, of course, is like, yeah, but he was lost, now he's found. Everything I have is yours, but my dead son is back to life. Why this story reminds me of religion is because one of the things I notice about the father is not just his unconditional love, but I noticed that the father actually let the son go. He wasn't like, no, you're gonna stay here. This is my house, my rules. You'll get the inheritance when I say so. He gave him the money and allowed him to leave. And I think that's a lot like the nature of Christ. Christ doesn't force himself on us. He wants us to love him, to have a relationship with him. Why then do religious people force their beliefs on others? That's not like Christ. In fact, the father in the story, he probably in the back of his mind was like, you can go. Because one thing I know for a fact, nothing you will find out there will beat what I have in here. And I think Jesus is very much like that. He allows us to go. He allows us to experience things, not because he wants us to fail miserably. It's not manipulative. He's not like, oh, I bet, watch. You gonna regret that. But it's more like a divine confidence or a confidence in the power of love. He knows that you can't force someone to love you. You literally cannot. So the same concept applies to God. Like, he doesn't want us to be forced into love or into doing things that look like love, because then we're really just going to be the big brother. The brother that was pissed at his dad for throwing his little brother a feast after he returned. His brother stayed and did everything his father wanted him to do, but he didn't understand the love of the father. So why then again does religion translate into, I believe this and I serve God this way? That means you have to believe this and serve God this way as well. There are laws of God that won't change, but we as people are so different. And God himself created us different. Difference is beautiful. So there are many ways to display this love for God in your life. And religion often takes that and puts it in this concise little box. It boxes in people and it boxes in God. And it becomes just contrived and forceful and actually turns people away from the vast openness and unconditional love of God. But the father in the story is like, okay, go. And when he came back, he didn't hold a grudge against him. He wasn't like, all right, well, you get to be a servant. You're second class. I prefer your big brother. He was like, come, let's have a party. You're home, you're alive. Because truth be told, when we're not with Christ, it hurts his heart because he likes us. It's like losing a friend. That crap hurts. It really does. Jesus loves us. So losing a child, that's unbearable pain. So it's not that he wants us to leave him, but he will allow us to leave him. Here's a cool thing though. He won't ever leave us. Even when we turn our backs on him, he won't turn his back on us ever. Not ever. And so when I think of this story, I imagine, like, I played it out longer than the Bible does. I imagine years down the line, if the older brother did something regrettable, I can't imagine the younger brother being like, bro, you're stupid. Why would you do that? Because the brother has an experience of walking out of line, making a decision that should have caused his father to turn his back on him, but he didn't. He instead welcomed him back with open arms and threw a party. The brother understood the concept of grace. So that's what religion to me was really supposed to be. A bunch of us prodigal sons and daughters, a bunch of us that left our father's house, went into the world, did whatever we wanted to, came to the realization like, this was dumb as heck, I regret this, I'm going back home, got welcomed into the family of God with open arms, and then we understand the grace of God. It was never meant to be forced conveying and forced doing of rules and forcing it on others. It was supposed to be people who experienced the grace of God wanting to share that with everyone else. But that's not what religion is. That's why there are so many people who've been hurt by Christians and hurt by religion. But does that make religion wrong? No, it makes us wrong, the ones who do it wrong. Because again, religion, undefiled and pure, is loving and serving and taking care of the hurting and showing grace to those who need it most, the outcasts, those on the fringes, those who are broken. It's really imagining yourself in the lowest place, the time you turned from God, and that moment he accepted you back into his family without condition. That's what religion was supposed to be. So I am sorry for anyone that has ever been hurt under the name of religion. And it's so many people, but don't discredit religion. Just know that when it is done right, religion it's community. It's community. It's a community of people that believe in the love and grace of God. We were created to be in community. But the point is not that this community now turns against those who don't look like us. But really what we're supposed to do is take this love that should have changed our hearts. It should have. And then in turn go and present that as a gift to others. So I think it's time we unlearn religion. It's not just going to church, sitting in the pews, singing your songs, following these rules, keeping these traditions. It's really letting the grace of God be so prolific in your life that you have no other desire than to share that with others. I'm pretty tired of religion as it is, but I'm more so hopeful that maybe I can start being the change, and you can start being the change. Let's be like Christ. Let's go to the outcasts. Let's go to the hurting, the people on the fringes, the people who are frowned down upon. Touch the leper. Let the prostitute wash your feet with her hair. Go to the woman, to the man, to the people who are different from us, and extend the same grace you found when you, prodigal son, came back home. And your father not only accepted you with open arms, gave you a dope robe, threw a fabulous party, and made you his again. That's what religion is supposed to be. So let's unlearn religion. I think it's time. Hey guys, listen, if this is a concept that resonates with you, subscribe to this channel because we'll be talking about more things like this. Share this with someone. What is your perspective on religion? How have you been affected by religion? And how have you actually been a person that maybe didn't view it the right way and treated someone wrong? How can you make amends for that? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And let's have true religion that's undefiled. I love you guys. Share this, subscribe, like, and I will see you guys soon.